Hello, welcome to our second video in this beginning or basic foundation of Python programming series. And in this lesson, we're going to learn how to use comment tags for both a single line and multiple lines. Again, we're going to go over using print to output data to the console. And we're going to go over the input method, which is a convenient way to get information from the end user. Okay, and that information will come in as a string. And if we need to, we can parse it or convert it to different data types and then use it in our program. So first off, to make a basic comment tag on a single line, use the pound symbol in Python. So look, if I write something here, all right, if I ran the script in Python, that would be interpreted as a syntax error because it's not actual code. There are no functions, no variables, no objects that correspond to blah, blah, blah. I haven't defined that. But if I was just typing a note and I didn't want it to be processed as code, I would put the pound symbol in front of it. Notice how Visual Studio Code changes it to the color green. So that's because it's now considered a comment. And then I can write anything I want, and it doesn't matter because that whole line, supercalifragilistic or whatever, but that entire line will not be interpreted as code, okay? So that is one way that you can add comments in Python. Suppose you have multiple lines that you want to add a comment to. You might have like a couple of paragraphs of notes, and good code is well documented and documented within the code using comment tags. So being able to have multi-line comments can be very useful, can be handy. Well, that's as easy as using triple double quotes, okay? So double quote, double quote, double quote, and then double quote, double quote, double quote, and then anything in between that. You could have 10 lines, 50 lines, 100 lines of code. All of it would be considered a comment because this tells Python this is a string literal, okay? It's a string, so that's just another convenient way. So two ways to make comments, the pound symbol and triple double quotes for multi-line comments. Pound symbol for single line comments, triple double quotes for multi-line comments, okay? Now the print method, again, we went over that in the first lesson. So here we have a function, and in this function, we're going to use the input method to get the player's name. Player 1, they're going to type in their name. It comes in as a string. And we're going to use the print method to display hello and the player's name, whatever they type in. And we're just going to keep using that variable, okay? This is a variable. Anything on the left side of the assignment operator becomes a variable or an object to receive or hold a value in Python. And then anything on the right, think of it like a baseball player, right? A pitcher, he's throwing the ball, and the catcher's over here, he's going to catch the ball, and his catcher's mitt. Well, the variable player name is a variable. It catches the value of the ball, whereas input is the function or method. It's the pitcher, it throws the ball. Player name is the catcher, it catches the ball. And this equals sign here, it's tempting to call that equals, and it would be in math, but in programming, that's not equals. That's the assignment operator. And think this in your head. When you see that, don't say equals, say assignment. And if you say that, it can prevent you making all sorts of logic errors. It's not the same as saying player name is equal to whatever the player inputs. What it's saying is take the value that's on the right and then store it in the object or the variable on the left. Remember that that is always what the assignment operator does, and it will save you countless logic errors. Remember that the programming equal sign, aka the assignment operator, is not the same as the mathematics equal operator. It's saying something completely different in programming logic. And so if you think that way, value on the right throws the ball, value on the left catches the ball. That will get you thinking in the right frame of mind, a programming frame of mind. Not just true for Python, but for C++, Java, any other language, okay? So we take that value via the input method. It returns a string data type. We catch it in player name, and we display it. And we display it again here. Notice how Visual Studio Code highlights it. Look all the way down in my print statements. I'm using that name. Also, worth noting, these are special escape sequences. If I don't add this to the print function, when I add a variable and a string literal like I have inside the parentheses here, it will automatically add a space. But I don't always want that. So in situations where I don't want it to automatically add a space, then I add a comma, and I would say sep equals 2 single quotes for the separator. And that just means it's null, it's nothing. If I didn't do that, and then instead of 1 space, it would automatically add another space, and there would be 2 spaces between hello and the comma and player name, and I don't want that in this case, right? Down here, this is an example. If I add comma end equals and then null with the 2 single quotes, that'll keep it from adding a new line. Normally, every time you call print, it's going to display whatever you pass into it on a brand new line. So, carriage return line feed. But there may be situations where you don't want to do that. You might want to keep displaying text horizontally. And if that's the case, and you don't want to add a new line, just do comma end equals and 2 single quotes. So we've gone over that. Now let's run this and see what it looks like. I hit F5. Okay, see here, what's your name, player 1? Input my name. And that goes in, it's stored as a variable. The input method takes it on the right, throws it, and then my player name variable catches it on the left. And then I can use it all the way throughout my function, all the way throughout my program as a variable. There are special prefixes to declare a variable in, say, Java or C++ or PowerShell, but you don't have that in Python. In Python, you declare a variable, it knows that it's a variable or an instance or an object based on its position on which side of the assignment operator that it's on. So it's important to think of that symbol not as equals, but as the assignment operator, okay? That's how Python knows. So there's my variable, right? Carly, 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 Carly. I'm just using it all the way down. And notice how there's no extra space here because I set sep equals 2 single quotes. Notice how this is all on the same line without adding another line because I said end equals 2 single quotes. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe. See you in the next one.